Welcome back to Rebel to Rise, where business meets human design. This episode, I'm diving into something that has become so foundational in both how I lead and how I coach my clients. I call it the Velvet Hammer Method. Let's just say, if tough love and intuition had a baby and wrapped it in a cashmere blanket, that's the Velvet Hammer leader. It's a leader that is strong, confident, clear, yet firm, and leads with so much grace and compassion that it not only lands, but people are magnetized to your energy. And most importantly, you're able to make a bigger impact based on how you're leading. I first came across the term Velvet Hammer back in 2022 while I was still trying to find my purpose. I was scrolling through Amazon for business books and I found this book, The Velvet Hammer, Powerful Leadership Lessons for Women Who Don't Golf by Elaine Allison. I mean, the title alone was amazing and the concept stuck with me immediately. The Velvet Hammer is a woman who is direct but effective. She gets shit done, but she doesn't bulldoze people to get there. She leads with grace and empathy while being firm and unshakably her. And the definition from the book says, simply put, a velvet hammer is a woman at any level of their organization who gets things done, and done well by leading with grace. She has let go of trying to make what works for her male counterparts work for her. Instead, she leverages her perspective as a woman to gain the trust, enthusiasm, and support of her team. She is direct and impactful, a hammer, yet softens her approach with her innate diplomacy, compassion, and warmth, a velvet. I mean, let that sink in for a second. It gives me chills, and that is exactly who I want to be as a leader. And I think in the world where women in leadership are so often told to toughen up, tone it down, this approach gives you a third option. Not too hard, not too soft, just powerful, with a side of compassion. And that's what inspired me to turn this whole concept into an entire method I now teach my clients. I was seeing way too many powerhouse women either burning themselves out trying to be liked and avoiding tough conversations, or they were overcompensating by being hypermasculine, rigid, and disconnected from their intuition. My Velvet Hammer method is how you're able to reclaim your leadership style in a way that's both effective and sustainable, but also 100% authentically, unapologetically you. I think I related to this Velvet Hammer concept so much because I'm a rebel and I see it as a rebellious way to lead, but I also realized I was leading from this Velvet Hammer way in my first management position before I even knew what a Velvet Hammer was. So let me tell you about my first Velvet Hammer moment. I was 21 leading the Rose Float program at Cal Poly. I was basically running a company with volunteers, timelines, deadlines, media, and a team of college students trying to make it all fit together. That was pressure enough, but then I had to fire someone at 21 on a student team. This guy was in charge of maintaining our website and our marketing and wasn't doing it. I'm not one to jump straight to disciplining. I like avoiding confrontation, but I instead got curious. I tried working with him. I gave him grace. I asked why things kept falling through the cracks. But over a period of time, I just got one excuse after another. No ownership, no sign of improvement. So I gave him 2 formal warnings. And when nothing changed, I had to let him go. And you know what? He was shocked. Because I'm a really relaxed person. I'm friendly. I'm warm. I'm chill. But don't cross me, because I also am not here to let the entire team suffer because someone isn't showing up, doing their part. I let him go and I told him he was still welcome to be a volunteer, but he was no longer going to be part of the leadership team. That experience was my first real taste of what it meant to lead with compassion and boundaries. I tried to figure out a solution. I wasn't mean. but I was clear in what I expected. It was very uncomfortable for me, but it was also so empowering knowing I made the right decision for my team. My Velvet Hammer method I created is built on 3 key pillars. And if you worked with me or followed me for a while, this might sound familiar. They're the foundation of how I coach, lead, and live my life. The first pillar is clarity. This is where everything starts. Who you are, what you want, what you're here to build, and it's not based on what you've been told you should want. It's not what everyone else is doing, but it's what you desire. This pillar is about reconnecting with your human design, defining your long-term vision, owning your goals, and learning to really hear and trust your intuition again. Because if you don't know what you want, you're just going to spend your whole life building someone else's dream, and I don't want you to live with regret one day. The next pillar is business architecture. This is your personal business blueprint, the structure that allows your business to actually support you rather than drain you. This is the strategy, the systems, the offers, the processes, and understanding how they're all working together and where we can make improvements. It's not about making your business perfect. It's about making it make sense for your energy, your goals, and your season of life. A solid foundation equals less chaos, more momentum, and more freedom. It's how you work on your business instead of being buried in it. And the last pillar is magnetism. This is your presence, your energy, your essence. It's how you show up in the world and how you lead others. It's how you build trust and how you communicate, how you attract opportunities, clients, and support without forcing it. Magnetism is the energy of being so rooted in who you are that people can't help but feel it. It's your joy, your boundaries, your charisma. It's your you-ness. And when all 3 of these pillars work in harmony, you stop shape shifting. You stop trying to be everything for everyone. You start leading like you. And these aren't just steps. They're a rhythm. They're a lifestyle. They work together to help you lead like the powerhouse you are without morphing into someone you're not. Next, let's talk about what makes a Velvet Hammer woman so powerful and what it actually takes to be an effective leader. Because when it comes down to it, leadership isn't just about setting goals or having a calendar full of meetings. If you want to grow your business, if you want to stop burning out, if you want to attract the right clients and support team, true leadership, the kind that creates change, inspires others, and sustains you in the process of reaching your goals, that type of leadership is rooted in self-trust, knowing who you are and staying anchored there. It's rooted in communication, saying what needs to be said clearly and kindly, even when it's awkward, and making sure that everyone is on the same page and working together as a team. It's about eloquence, the ability to gracefully move through challenges without combusting. It's having a moral vision, staying connected to why you lead in the first place. And it's about strategic genius. Not just following a straight line to a defined goal, but adapting as the path bends and curves. Because in the real world, the straightest path to your goal is almost never a straight line. It looks more like you're taking a winding trail through the woods, maybe occasionally doing it in heels and dodging squirrels and at times second-guessing your GPS. But when you're aligned with your human design, specifically your strategy and authority, decision-making becomes so much clearer. You know when to act, when to wait, and when to move forward in a way that protects your energy instead of depleting it. Because when you have more energy, you're able to work smarter and not harder, and make decisions that you're actually confident in. I also want to mention, being a Velvet Hammer isn't about being fearless. It's about having fear, but doing the thing anyway. Even when your voice shakes, even when you're scared someone might not like it, it's about stretching yourself, so you could grow into a stronger leader. I think it's also important to remember that great leadership embraces the power of curiosity and emotional intelligence. I think these are two traits often forgotten about and underused, but deeply powerful. Curiosity creates space for understanding, and emotional intelligence allows us to lead with both logic and empathy. These aren't soft skills, they're superpowers, and what makes women leaders so powerful, their natural ability to have curiosity and emotional intelligence. Okay, let's talk Velvet Hammer in action, especially when it comes to having hard conversations, because I think as women and leaders, having hard conversations are often avoided. And I say this all because the Velvet Hammer isn't an energy, it's a skill set. One of the most important tools in that skill set is the art of conversation, which includes setting clear boundaries with clients, with your team, with your family, and yes, even boundaries with yourself. I am a total nerd for conversation tricks, and I think this will be a whole other podcast episode. But the more I started embracing being a Velvet Hammer, I learned that being direct does not mean being harsh. It means your conversations and boundaries are coming from a place of care, and they're rooted in being honest, without shame or avoidance. And when you lead like that, people feel safe around you and your leadership. And you actually end up having less conflicts because people are clear on where they stand and what their responsibilities are. That clarity is what builds trust. And the more trust you have with your team, the more you're able to accomplish and create a bigger impact. Being a Velvet Hammer also does not mean you know it all. We are humble. You're allowed to pause before replying. You're allowed to ask for more time. You're allowed to say, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. You're even allowed to say, I don't have the capacity to take on more right now. I believe boundaries are not barriers. They're the bridges to healthier relationships and better leadership without resentment. I also want to be clear, being a Velvet Hammer isn't about becoming a better leader. You already have the power within you. It's about becoming a more whole person, a more whole human. When you build a business without boundaries, without joy, without clarity, you start to resent what you built. You start losing yourself by trying to make everyone else comfortable first. I've seen it happen. I have lived it personally. And that's why this concept matters, because you're not just leading a company, you're leading your life. Embracing the Velvet Hammer mindset reminds you, you don't have to work harder to be worthy. You don't have to chase every opportunity out of fear of missing out. You don't have to sacrifice your health, joy, or personality to be powerful. In fact, the more grounded you are in who you are, the more magnetic you become. People are drawn to authenticity. People unconsciously know when you're not being your full self. And people want to be led by someone who knows herself. Being a Velvet Hammer isn't just about your business thriving. It helps you thrive. Nothing feels as good as being seen in your own skin. And part of that means being in integrity with yourself. Being a woman leader in business isn't about being equal to men and doing it their way. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a man. I love being a woman and I want to do it my way based on who I am. You could be sweet, kind, and powerful and not just play it small because that's what's easier. To me, leadership isn't about flaunting your greatness and being the loudest person in the room. I have found it could also be very useful to be underestimated. And yes, that does often go at odds with what modern expectations of power and success look like. Because I think we live in a world where cynicism often passes as wisdom, and performing and being loud and in your face, look at me, can drown out genuine strength. But I have found this is how you abandon yourself when you're trying to be someone you're not. I am here to show you an authentic way of leading. Traditional leadership methods often lead to success without fulfillment, which is a recipe for burnout. If you're constantly abandoning yourself to make others comfortable, you'll start to resent what you've built. I believe success is defined by those things that are within our control. Not money or followers, but confidence, taking risks, creating a business that feels like a playground and not a salt mine, making decisions that feel aligned and not forced, taking a walk at 2 p.m. because your energy is low and not feeling guilty about it, saying no to what drains you so you're able to say yes to what's going to fuel you, leading with confidence, clarity, and joy, choosing to do what you love, prioritizing your well-being, taking space for yourself, leading with intention, being powerful and eloquent, and being who you want to be. And when you take control of your own success in these ways, it reminds you that you don't have to earn your worth by being everything to everyone, by trying to do it all. You already are enough. You already have what it takes. And the most powerful thing you could do in your life and business is to lead like you. Being a Velvet Hammer is what Rebel to Rise is all about. Leading differently, leading authentically, leading with both fire and flow. It's about burning the rule book and writing your own playbook. It's about building success on your terms. It's about knowing you don't have to sacrifice softness for strength. You get to be both. You get to be all of you. So if you're ready to embrace your Velvet Hammer energy in your life or business and start leading with more intention and grace and grounded power, leave me a comment. I want to hear about it. Let me know your biggest takeaway from this episode. Or if this episode inspired you, send it to a friend that needs a little extra leadership magic in their day. And until next time, keep rebelling, keep rising. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Rebel to Rise, where business meets human design. I hope you feel inspired to break free from those shoulds in your life and trust your inner compass as you create a life and business that truly lights you up. Remember, every day is a chance to rebel against the ordinary and rise into your authentic power. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow rebel who's ready to lead their lives unapologetically. Until next time, keep trusting your intuition, keep breaking the rules, and most importantly, keep rising.